right.
friends and family. Who I'm with?
Hey, I'm with you with your daddy.
I'm with my dad.
And I'm with my girl. All right now.
Hi, Papa.
How you doing, sweet pie? How are you?
I am blessed. I'm
Oh,
blessed and highly favored, as you.
amen. You look like it. You wear it
Amen.
well. You wear it
Amen.
well.
God
Amen.
is good, and
Yes, he is.
y'all are well. We have missed y'all. Welcome back. Come on in. Take a seat. Get comfortable. Get something to drink. I'm having a green tea,
Excellent.
matcha green tea latte.
I'm having a mushroom coffee.
How do you like it?
I like it. I like it. That's gonna be my drink from now on. No more. I'm gonna get rid of the regular coffee and go strictly mushroom. It's good for me.
Yeah, they say it's better for you, and they say it's easier on your system. It's supposed
Yeah.
to improve cognitive abilities, all that good stuff.
Blood flow, all of
Yeah,
that, heart, all of that. Because
yeah.
I'm nigh on 66 in the next 3 months, so I got to get it right. I got to stay on top of it.
Daddy, 66,
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
66 going on 26,
I,
36.
give me 36 and 46, because that by that time I done grew out of a lot of
There
childishness.
you go.
All right. Hey, it's good to see you. Good to see everybody.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right.
So I think where we left off last time, well, we always talk about relationships,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And I
it.
wonder if people question why we always talk about relationships. I think relationships are such a major part of life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they contribute to who we are and how we show up in the world. They contribute to our development
Excellent.
in our communications. I feel like because relationships are such a major part of our existence, there's really no better topic than to talk about relationships. And there's so many varieties of relationships, right? It's not relegated to just one kind. There's the work kinds of relationships and the familial and the romantic and the friendships and all the in-betweens, the
Right.
acquaintance kinds of
Amen.
relationships.
Amen. That's
We
right.
definitely left off talking about relationships. And what I think I remember you bringing up was the topic of seed, what we give, what we contribute, how we show up um in our relationships.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts about that? What are you thinking? What you
I want to go back to what you were saying initially about relationship and the importance of relationship, and I think it'll lead us into the seed aspect of it. Uh, I don't know how many of you out there embrace the Creator, embrace Yahweh, embrace Jah, or embrace God, or you have a relationship with God, but the Scripture says that it's not good for man to be alone.
Mm.
I think it would be literally impossible to have a relationship with the Creator without having a relationship with man, because we are His creation. So man was created to relate. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when we understand that, and we stop fighting our God-given compulsions, our God-given generosities, our God-given desire to forgive,
Mm.
all of that, if we can start understanding that we don't need to change to be like Him, we just need to embrace the person that we are, that's made in His image. So if we start relationship from that standpoint, then the seed becomes legitimate. If you understand, first of all, you're never going to sow good seed until you know that you're made out of good stuff.
When you say legitimate, you mean pure.
There you go.
Mm.
There you go.
I
It,
felt that.
it takes away the taintedness of it. It even takes away uh, how you view it.
Mhm.
You stop viewing it as a victim,
Mhm.
and you start looking at it as a victor, which means I got to look forward to see victory. Victory can't be seen in the past; it can only be experienced in the future.
So then it's less about someone taking advantage of you and more about what you purposefully bring, purposefully give, how you purposefully show
Mhm.
up in the relationship, because this is just who I am.
And
And
then,
and I don't want to take away the human experience from that,
right,
right? Because I think that we all anticipate reciprocity, right? If you're
right.
loving on someone, you would anticipate that at some point they're going to love on you as well,
Mhm, mhm,
especially if it's in a relationship that's ongoing.
right.
Um, but I do think that we live in a climate where there's so much expectation attached to what we give and how we show up and what we bring, as opposed to us just aligning ourselves with the creator that's on the inside of us
Mhm,
and living out the characteristics and living out the creator that is already in us and just
mhm,
being in alignment with that and anticipating that because we're in alignment with that,
mhm.
all of what's supposed to be in alignment with us will also be attracted and will be given back to us, which is
Yeah.
it's much easier said than done.
Mhm. It goes back to what we always say: you attract what you are, not what you want.
Yeah.
If you're a
Yeah,
generous person, you will attract generous people. If you're a kind person, you will attract kind people. Even if the people don't stay in your life,
it's true.
every kind person is not supposed to be around forever. Every generous person is not supposed to be around forever. But recognize when your seed grows.
Mm,
Sometimes we recognize when we sow it, but we don't know when it's growing.
that's very good.
Because sometimes we don't see the harvest. We only see the harvest of the hand, not the harvest of the heart.
That's very good, Papa.
So I think a lot of times we lose value in our seed because we don't realize we've sown it and we don't realize the harvest that has been returned. I cannot think of any time I have given kindness that it has not been returned to me.
Right.
But I can think of many times when it was returned, I wasn't grateful for it because I wanted something in my hand that was tangible to prove
Oh my goodness.
that I'm being rewarded for this pain. But if you're a relationship with the Creator, He was wounded for your transgression,
Yes, it was.
He was bruised.
Yes.
So why are you still carrying pain? And see, realize too, I think that when you have this kind of objective in life, because I don't really espouse the belief that you can have this wonderful, great relationship with the Creator God, Jesus, or whoever, Yahweh, or whoever you might desire, and not like yourself.
Impossible.
You can't know Him until you know you. I think the more thorough we get to know us, the more closer we get to realize He is. That
Who-
the distance. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, I
Go
was
ahead.
just saying who he is.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Go ahead. Go ahead and finish. I'm sorry. Did
No,
I
no,
finish?
no. You were on a roll. You were simply highlighting the fact that a lot of times when we start out in relationships, living this life,
Mm-hmm.
maybe our footing is not the best, right? So consequently,
You're
we
right.
have to learn, right?
Right.
It's a process. It's about the
Right.
journey, not the destination. And
Right.
in learning, we may find ourselves in relationships where we're really not showing up as our authentic selves. A lot
Right.
of us get into relationships that are codependent
Yeah.
or get into relationships where we don't really know ourselves. So we're giving
Mm-hmm.
parcels and pieces of ourselves to the people that we're in relationship with. And like you call it a mosaic
There
kind
you
of
go.
experience
Yeah.
where it's not this, it's beautiful because it's you, but it's
Mm-hmm.
fragmented pieces of you, as
Pieces.
opposed to the
Mm-hmm.
whole picture that the creator originally designed it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us get lost in that kind of existence, just kind of showing up fragmented, showing up in pieces, not really understanding why things are not being reciprocated in relationship. Well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing this and I'm
Mm-hmm.
showing up this way and I'm still hurt. I still feel without. I still feel lost. I don't feel like my companion really knows me, really sees me, whatever the things are, right?
Right.
But it almost, if not always, is as a result of us not knowing ourselves first before having gone into the relationships. And
That's
it's not that all is lost if you find yourself in that space and place, because it's not. But it must always, if there's a question, if there's a quandary about where am I, what's happening, I don't understand this experience, it's always going to circle back to self.
mm-hmm.
which means that it's always going to circle back to the creator that's in you, which means that it's always going to circle back to the creator and you knowing the creator that's in you. And it's not you and I were talking the other day, and, people make God out to be this, fairy cloud dust in the sky. And it couldn't be further from that, right? It's the creator source energy that's in us that empowers us to change, to create, to think, to manifest, to co-create the very existence and the life and the experiences that we want to have. But in order to do that, we have to know who we are. In order to do that, we have to know who the creator is. In order to do that, we have to be in alignment with who we are and who the creator is on the inside of us. So you more or less were talking about, I think you were talking about just the ups and downs in relationships that occurs as a result of not knowing oneself.
I think what we do what I call isolation for consolation. What we do is we isolate our pain and make it unique to us. That no one else has ever had to go through this. Nobody else has ever had to endure this. So my situation is so unique. How can I possibly go on with this broken piece called me? Attached to him who was broken, attached to her where they were broken, attached to them that was broken. So now I've made pieces of all of my life, but I've not yet looked at any of the experience and asked myself, what could I learn? How could I have grown? The worst thing in life is to ask for better. Because once you put that in the atmosphere, he aligns you to get it. Now, better cannot be seen until your worst is revealed.
Yes.
So he keeps taking you back. The cycle is not necessarily necessary. The cycle is indigenous to the individual that does not learn from past experience.
And indigenous to the request, or indigenous to the desire.
Because at the very beginning, as all of us, we want the better things in life. We want the best. We want better than what we saw. We want the best things in life. Now, to want, that's the human side of us. That's everybody. And that's the creator putting that desire, for it is him that worketh in us both to will and to do of his good pleasure. So that's his energy in us to be that. But what we don't understand is that experiences in life and our relationship with one another make him real. Make him visible. If I didn't have human encounters, God wouldn't be necessary.
Exactly. You said that perfectly. I was trying to find the right words to express why we talk about relationships so much, and you said it perfectly. Because there's nothing like relationships that reveal the character or the lack of character of God.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Like in the experience of him, like and even in that, you get to know the creator more from those experiences if you allow yourself.
Right. I think oftentimes we go through experience and we spend most of the time after the experience seeding about the experience, but never learning from the experience. And what we learn from the experience is usually the negative.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna move. I'm not gonna mess with no other woman like this. I'm not gonna mess with no other man. I'm not gonna do no more churches. I'm not gonna do. We create that narrative, and that narrative keeps us from seeing best.
Yeah.
Because if I understand that I walk with the Creator, and I truly believe that He guides me, and that He leads me, and that He orders my steps, then why would He order me into a step that on the surface would be perceptibly negative if there was not some intent?
Absolutely.
To answer a request that I've given to him. Because we know God answers prayers.
Yeah.
But he just don't answer with the hand. He answers through the heart.
Yes.
To the hand. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So I think a lot of times if we would understand, even if when we're single and we're looking for a perspective, or not looking for, but we are prepared for a specific relationship, we have to always be always walk with the understanding that I dated this guy, I dated this girl, and I didn't work out. But what did I learn?
Exactly.
And did I leave here bitter or did I leave here better? Oh, he stood me up. I'm angry at every. Don't take that anger. Don't be a hoarder of negative emotions. Don't be a hoarder of negative. You have to take each experience. What's helped me in life to take each experience as an isolated incident. Like in school, you can't go into social study thinking about math.
That's right.
You can't go into, the difference of biology thinking about, some other subject. You have to be present in that class, and you have to look at experiences as classes to graduation.
I like that.
And I have to pass.
I like that.
And you're going to have some tests.
I like it.
And you ain't going to be taught like you want to be taught. Sometimes you're going to have to change the way you hear so that you can be taught the way you need to hear. You see? So anyway, I hope that helps somebody out there.
I love that. I've always been the kind of person, like, for real. After every disappointment, heartbreak, I'll be doggone if I done gone through everything I done gone through, and my consolation prize is bitterness. Now, that's not to say that I've always gotten it right and that I didn't have some remnant.
That's the most readily available emotion. It's the emotion that rules the atmosphere. So you can eat that anytime.
But I've always endeavored to learn. What can I learn from this? And again, not be so quick to say, well, it wasn't my fault and I didn't do this. My intention was, and I set out with the best intention and the love. And okay, then that's fantastic. But it still didn't end the way that you had desired it to end. It ended whatever way it ended. What can you learn from it? What can you extract from it that will better you for the next go round, or for the next relationship, or for the next whatever, Yeah. I would rather that be my consolation prize than to hoard bitterness. Then ill-equipped.
Yeah.
And unlearn and not having passed the test for the next situation.
There you go. Well, one of the things about bitterness leads to rebellion. Most people don't understand that bitterness leads, for example, you get a bitter daughter in a family. It leads to rebellion against family unity. It leads to rebellion against family gathering. It leads to rebellion against the atmosphere of family atmosphere. Yeah. All of that. Now, when we talk about relationship, it's very important that if you are in a dating state, or you're in a fluid state as far as relationship, it's very important that you don't become toxic.
Absolutely.
That you understand that, okay, I dated Joe, I dated Sally, or whatever. I know those are common names. I dated Sally. She was this and she was that. Well, what was some of the things that I got from Sally or what I got from Joe that I can carry into my next relationship? I know what I can't carry, because I can't carry that because I didn't bring it.
I didn't bring it and I don't want it.
There you go. And so a good way to know if the relationship is for you is, can they discuss topics that are relevant to who you are? Now, we live in a world right now where everybody wants to give you their resume, especially men.
Oh my goodness.
Brothers, if I could say anything to you, and if I could give any advice, and if there's any brothers that listen, it may be 10, maybe 20, and hopefully it's 100. Let me tell you something. If you just live, you'll never have to tell her who you are. And if you lead with your resume, it's probably not very good. Because most people who lead with their resume has to embellish it in order to get the position. And any real woman worth her salt don't care about resume anyway. She would rather see you live it than to give it.
Every time.
So please don't do that. And ladies, we don't need your resume either.
We don't need your resume. And don't fall for the trap of showing up on dates and talking about all the things that you've done. If you're going to have conversation, talk about who you are. That's great. Ask me some questions. Engage me. Are you afraid of questions? Anybody afraid of questions will be afraid of the answers. E5 bingo.
So listen, ladies, if you're gonna date a man, make sure you got answers to his questions and make sure he has some. If all he has is statements, you're probably gonna live by his statements. But if there's inquisitive and there's exchange, then you can build a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and when you meet a real man and a real woman, most of us who have developed ourselves, who by reason of use have exercised our senses to be able to detect what is evil and what is good, and that's called experience. When you get certain kind of experience, you don't mind at a certain point in the relationship. This is a weakness in my life.
Yes.
Weakness in my life is time. And maybe you have a problem with time. And maybe you have a family that don't ever call you on your time. But you date him or you date her. And he got an attitude when you're not on time. She got attitude when you're not on time. How do you navigate that? You've long since had the problem.
Right.
Do you act? Do I act? Do I act as if I'm privileged to be late because those that love me have tolerated it?
Very good.
Or do I recognize God put this man or this woman in my life to make me my best because I asked for the best? That's the key.
Is
It's
this
not,
something that's worth fighting for? Or does the relationship with this person matter more?
well, here's what you got to do. Never fight for a relationship, fight for you.
Absolutely. But
And
what
if,
I mean is we hold on to things that
okay,
are we feel are indigenous to our nature or indigenous to who we are. Or, well, my family, I ain't never been good with time, and my family always allows, okay, well, and it might be time for you to change that to accommodate having this romantic partner in your life. We fight for the wrong things. I'm not necessarily saying that you need to fight for a relationship. You sure as heck shouldn't be fighting to keep something in your life
I don't want to be there. That's it.
that could break a relationship, that something that someone in a romantic relationship with you is saying, "Ugh, I can't, that's just not something." And really it would require more order from you.
Yeah.
That'd be the thing right there, right? I feel like a lot of times we don't want to change the things that require more order from us. We don't want to change the things that require an attitude adjustment. We don't want to, which is order. We don't want to change the things that require a discomfort.
That's it.
But that's part of relationship.
But nobody ever grows comfortable.
That's part of relationship.
Even physically, emotionally, educationally, we don't grow comfortable. We grow with challenges. We grow with changes. We grow with development. All of these things are indigenous to growth. The only time growth is stunted is when you have to do it. When I'm the subject, then I don't feel like it. We substitute gripes and grudges for growth.
Yeah.
Or they didn't have to do it that way. When people tell me that, my question is always, was the content right? Was what they said, was there any accuracy to what they said, or were they just totally out of left field? Like, for example, if someone were to tell me right now I could pass for a white guy, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to believe that. But if they told me I could pass for someone from Africa,
Right.
I could relate to that.
Right.
And a lot of times I think in our heads, our ability to relate is lost. What a male sees as a man isn't a man. So he patterns the behavior. Now, I really believe this. I believe a real woman brings out the real man, and the real man brings out the real woman.
Amen.
You understand what I'm saying? I think that when he meets the right woman, as handicapped as he may be, she might be able to do, or he might meet the right woman, or vice versa. You understand what I'm saying? Relationship is such a fluid thing. And I think relationship has more to do with not having the individual as your goal, but having the future as your goal.
I love that.
And the individual is a part
Not
of that
the
future.
individual as the goal.
I learned that after being married for 20 years.
Yeah,
Because we get married because I'm in love.
Yeah.
Just love. You know, we got the endorphins, we got the sexual energy,
Yeah.
we got all of that. And that's before you get 4 kids and for 20 years of ministry and people, you know, all the stuff that you go through. Then you start to reflect and realize all of these things really didn't matter. And I think that you start to realize at that point, you have to start to decipher why you got in a relationship and what was the purpose of the relationship. And I've said this many times, the longer you're in a relationship, the more you have to set greater vision. You have to expand vision.
The longer you're in a relationship, the more you have to expand your vision for the relationship
Yes, for the relationship and for life.
and
You,
for
because when you first get into a relationship, i.e., your mom and I,
yeah.
it's about you and them.
Yeah.
You and them. And even if you have kids, it's still about you and them for a while. And then when there's additional kids added to the picture, if there are, and even if there's not additional kids, as you grow, as the relationship seasons, it has to find another purpose rather than just the two of you being together. The sex is not what it used to be when you were younger. It's not new. It's now by appointment. It's on the calendar. You have to put it on the calendar. You have to register early in the morning to get
It's
it.
a different type of setup.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And it's not that you're not in love with the person,
Right.
but you're more in love with the future. And the future consists of your daughter. I think that clears it up right there. You're in love with the future. And if he fits, because he got to fit. He can't come into your life and say, okay, I need a 9-to-5 wife. Wrong person. No way.
Bye-bye.
What's that?
Bye-bye.
Yes. You know, I need my daughter to come home. Oh, no. I don't need you. No. I don't need you to take the seat. No, wrong person. And you can know right away. I think a lot of times we become so desperate for a relationship, we try to fit into another's world when it doesn't mesh. So anyway, I'm just talking around. Let me be quiet. Go right.
No, it's good. You hit a few things. I wanted to go back to the flow of relationship and how it starts off in one place, but it kind of grows and expands into other places. And you said, you know, when you first start off in relationship, you and that person are the focus. And then if you have kids and the family, the focus. And then as time passes and kids grow up and they move out of the house, then the relationship kind of morphs into something else. And your focus really is more pointed towards the future. And I guess the all-encompassing idea or concept of the relationship within the future.
Legacy.
So it's all like the lovey-dovey and the feelings.
Yeah. Now
Not that the feelings aren't there.
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's still a very vital part of our relationship. So I'm not speaking of like that. But my ego doesn't depend on it.
Yeah.
Her ego doesn't depend on it. It's a matter of tonight, I don't feel like it. Okay. Now, when we were younger, not feeling like it was a crime.
Not a crime, bloody murder.
It wasn't a felony, it was a high-level misdemeanor. You know, you could get some probation for that. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that when you're younger and you're full of the energy, the testosterone. As a man, I'm looking from a man, even from a woman's standpoint. We're not talking about from a sexual standpoint, but you're full of the energy of maybe having a man that can provide and take care of you. You can feel secure, whatever the situation may be. I'm not taking away from the woman's experience. I'm just talking about the man's experience.
Right.
And then what happens is you find that that's not the way you were made. Because you want that, because you're taught that as a man. That's what a man is supposed to want. But that's not good teaching. That's horrible teaching. In fact, growing up, the validation of a man was sex.
Yeah.
You know?
Still is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not,
well,
it's not the
with me,
foundation, but that is what's
it was with the opposite sex.
oh,
I'm only like, I don't want to get, you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
With me, it's the opposite sex, not the, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, uh, I'm sorry. What did I lost my thought?
Essentially, you are settling into a different concepts of manhood,
Yeah,
different concepts of how you show up as a man, as a bold-blooded, full-blooded man.
yeah.
It's not a knock on the manhood or anything, but you're defining it differently than where you first started. You're
Almost
defining
definitely.
how you show up differently than how you used to show up and what you felt like defined you as a man. And
Right.
that has happened as a result of you living life. That has happened also as a result of you being in a successful relationship for
Mm-hmm.
44,
45 years. We'll say 45 because we got to keep
45
this.
years. Y'all just celebrated
Yeah,
45.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you finish me?
Oh, I was just recapping for you.
Yeah, I just think it's with any relationship. I think it has its seasons.
Mm.
You know, time to sow, a time to reap, a time to cry, uh, time to plan, a time to, you know, Ecclesiastes talks about the seasonality of relationship, and every relationship goes through seasons.
Yeah.
But you can't make seasons your eternity.
Right.
Now, in order not to do that, you have to have a vision bigger than the season. If you're in the winter season, you got to have a bigger vision for the summer, because if you don't, you stay in that cold place. And even if it warms up outside, you still cold. I've been there before. And so when I learned how to flow with the seasons of life, when I realized that every emotion doesn't need an expression, that some emotions just need to be talked out with yourself. Come, let us reason together, saith the Lord. You know, though your sins be, you
Mm.
know, red like crimson, but they shall be,
Mm.
you know, but though your sin be like scarlet or red like crimson, they shall be white as snow. So I think that that part of reasoning has nothing to do with you talking to God. It has to do with you talking to God. It has to do with you talking to God. And I learned over the years to talk to God.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, you move from the mindset of being a husband and a father to being a bearer of legacy.
Amen.
You know, Abraham.
Hmm.
Without Abraham, there wouldn't be no Isaac and Jacob. At some point, Abraham stopped thinking about Sarah and the other little lady that he had the kids by. He stopped, Hagar. He stopped thinking about, I mean, we got to tell the truth. It's a whole,
Not different people, not different people in the story.
Abraham was a player.
From the Himalayas.
Yeah. Anyway,
I like it though, Papa. What I hear you saying is that the older you've gotten and the more you've matured in your manhood, the less you're thinking about being a man and just being
mhm.
as a result of getting to know the creator in you.
You know, the difference, Hilika, is when you settle into who you are instead of trying to be what you already are.
Nothing like loving you.
You're trying to get to be a man by trying to do man stuff. When you just need to be a man, and man stuff will come out of you. You understand what I'm saying? I think it's just settling, coming to that place in your life where you finally feel like you don't have to prove.
Yes, I
You
just said
don't.
that earlier today.
You,
Yes.
you never have to prove, but you're always subject to improvement. So when I'm challenged, I'm not proving to you that I'm a good dad. I'm not proving to anybody that I'm anything.
Yes.
I'm just improving at the skills that I have as a father and as a husband and as a pastor and as a friend, as a softball player, as a referee, all the things that I do, I just want to be, I want to improve. I want to improve. I want to be better at what I do. Never to impress you by what I do.
Very good. Very,
So when I'm in a relationship that causes me consternation, that causes me sleepless nights. I learned one thing. The best way to view the relationship is through me.
Always.
And the best way to see a relationship is a change in me.
Always.
You got to adjust.
Yeah.
And it's not big adjustments.
Right.
It's slight adjustments. 45 years of marriage?
Adjustments are needed.
Very much so. Very much. Adjustments in silence.
Not always having something to say about everything. Being willing to just let it ride.
See it and let it go.
Yeah.
Hear it and don't respond.
Yeah.
I am very good at that. I used to do I was horrible at that when I was young because I felt like I had to always defend me. And I always felt like I had to defend me because I always felt like me was rejecting me. So everybody else was.
Yeah.
I didn't receive me, so why does anybody else? So rejection doesn't come from others. It comes from not receiving yourself, your authentic self.
That we got to pick that conversation up. We don't have time left today.
Okay.
Pick up from there, receiving yourself. And not so other people can receive.
No.
Just simply
like
on the merit of receiving yourself.
Going to the beach by yourself.
Come on.
Getting in the water.
Come on.
Your wine, listen to your music, and you don't need no date. And if somebody came up to you, as handsome as he may be, he can get my number, but you can't sit on my blanket. No, I don't want no time.
Oh, now
this is my time.
This is my time.
If you're thirsty, you're gonna take anybody come along.
No, thank you.
But if you value you,
yeah,
and you value the creator in you, you need that respite. You need that time.
Yeah. Perfect. I feel like this is a good place to stop.
Yes.
Go on and on and on if we don't.
Amen.
But I love you so much, Papa. This has been good.
I love you too, baby. Always. We always have great talks. You know how that is. You inspire me.
Oh, ditto. I'm a daddy's girl for life.
Yes,
we love y'all. Hey.
Never gonna change. She's gonna be 63. She's still gonna be my girl.
Always. I'm always ride. I'm always be a daddy's girl. You better believe it.
I hear you.
We do love y'all though, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Hey, continue to put in those comments what you'd like to hear us talk about. Continue to connect with us. We look forward to seeing you the next time. Love, be loved, and let love. In the meantime, and between time, take care of yourself
and your neighbor. We love you guys. Peace. Good job, babe. Bye-bye.
Love you, Papa.